approaching lunar sunrise, and for all the people back on Earth, the crew of Apollo 8 has a message that we would like to send to you. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness.
And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. Let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And from the crew of Apollo 8, we close with good night, good luck, a Merry Christmas, and God bless all of you on the good earth.
Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem. We've had a main beam undervolt.
Roger, main B undervolt. Okay, stand by 13, we're looking at it.
Okay, right now, Houston, the voltage is looking good. And we had a pretty large bang associated with the caution and warning there. And as I recall, main B was the one that had a amp spike on it once before.
Roger, Fred.
In the interim here, we're starting to go ahead and button up the tunnel again.
Roger.
Yeah, that jolt must have rocked the sensor on, see now in O2 quantity 2, it's was oscillating down around 20 to 60%, now it's full scale high again.
Roger.
And Houston, we had to restart on our computer. We had pink light and the restart reset.
At it, if I use the talents and capabilities I happen to have been given to the best of my ability, I think there is a power greater than I am that will certainly see that I am taken care of if I do my part of the bargain.
I deem it a high honor to present to you a brave and courageous American, a hero in World War II and in the Korean conflict, who recently, in a most notable manner, added glory and prestige to our country, the first United States astronaut to have achieved orbital flight, Lieutenant Colonel John Herschel Glenn, United States Marine Corps. Colonel Glenn.
I'm only too aware of the tremendous honor that's being shown us at this joint meeting of the Congress today. I know I still get a real hard-to-define feeling down inside when the flag goes by, and I know all of you do too. The launch itself was conducted openly and with the news media representatives from around the world in attendance. As our knowledge of this universe in which we live increases, may God grant us the wisdom and guidance to use it wisely. Thank you, John.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Yeah, right there, clear. That's good.
example of goal-oriented teamwork in action. The kind of thing that made this country great and the kind of thing that's going to keep it that way.
Has your good lady and have your children had anything to say about this?
Yes, mine have. Mine are very enthusiastic also.
I don't think any of us could really go on with something like this if we didn't have pretty good backing at home, really. My wife's attitude toward this has been the same as it has been all along through all my flying, that if it's what I want to do, and she's behind it, and the kids are too, 100%.
Well, my wife feels the same way, or of course I couldn't be here. She's with me all the way, and the boys are too little to realize what's going on yet, but I'm sure they feel the same way.
My wife has agreed that professional opinions are mine, career is mine, but we also have to have a family life that we like, and this is part of the agreement. I can't say much for my youngest daughter. She's only 18 months, but my son does have quite an interest in the program.
I have no problems at home. My family's in complete agreement.
Well, I can't add anything to what the other gentlemen have said. What I do is pretty much my business, professional-wise, and my wife normally goes along with it 100%.
Next question, please. The question is, what is the motivation of these men? Let's try that starting from the left and go down.
Okay, my full name is Donald K. Slayton, and my hometown is Sparta, Wisconsin. My age is 35, and I'm in the Air Force. As far as my motivation is concerned, I feel that this is the future of not only this country, but the world. We've gone about as far as we can on this globe, and we have to start looking around a bit. And it's just the natural expansion of flight, and consider it in that light. It's merely an extension of flight. We have to go somewhere, and that's all that's left. And I wasn't around when all the initial exploration was done in this country and around the world, and this is an excellent opportunity to be in on something new, the beginning of it.
Alan B. Shepard from East Derry, New Hampshire, and I am also 35. I don't think there's any question that we are on the threshold of space travel. We have seen many evidences along that line. Project Mercury is just one part of the endeavor toward space travel. I quite personally am intensely interested in it and just delighted to have been given the opportunity to participate.
My name is Walter Schirra, Walter M. Schirra, Jr. I originally came from Ordell, New Jersey. I think in my answer to what is my motivation, I think it's typical of most of us in this country. We're interested in new things. Aviation has been a new thing. Now it's a 50-year-old thing. I might add that talking to my mother just recently, asking her if she had any anxieties about this, I had an answer. My father was one of the very early aviators. His parents faced the same problem. So I feel this is an expansion in another dimension, much as aviation was an expansion off the surface of the Earth.
I'm Virgil I. Grissom from Mitchell, Indiana. My career...
How old are you, Mitchell?
33.
I didn't say.
My career has been serving the nation, serving the country, and here's another opportunity where they need my talents, and I'm most grateful for an opportunity to serve in this capacity.
I'm John Glenn. I'm the lonesome Marine on this outfit, and I'm 37. In answer to this same question a few days ago from someone else, I jokingly, of course, said that I got on this project because it'd probably be the nearest to heaven I'd ever get, and I wanted to make the most of it. My feelings are that this whole project with regard to space sort of stands with us now as, if you want to look at it one way, like the Wright brothers stood at Kitty Hawk about 50 years ago.
The question is, will the second step after Project Mercury involve more than one man? And the answer is we don't know yet, but for sure the second or third or fourth step will involve more than one man. The question is, did these gentlemen ever think about flying into space before the announcement of Project Mercury was made? Is this basically the question? Would you mind starting and we'll work down?
I've been at the Flight Test Center for the last 4 years, and we have numerous writers out there off and on interviewing X-15 pilots and so forth. And the last time Martin Caden was out there, which was about 3 to 4 months ago, he asked me this same question as to whether I would like to be the first man in space. And this was before I'd ever heard of Project Mercury, of course. And I told him at that time that I would give my left arm to be the first man in space. I think that's the best way I can answer your question.
In answer to the question, For my particular case, the answer is definitely yes. I have been following the developments as closely as I can from my present duty outside of the program. And I think that all of us here, being technically minded and having had the flight test experience, have thought about it. I don't think there's any question but what we all have thought about space flight. I think that I was enthusiastic about the program from the start. I enthusiastically volunteered. I had no difficulty in making my decision. It took no time whatsoever once they asked me to participate in the elimination program.
I think I can answer that simply. All of us in this room probably have read comic strips such as Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, Jules Verne routines, and if we had interest in reading things like this, obviously we had intentions of following something like this in our lifetimes. I will readily admit that I didn't think it was coming this soon. But in flying aircraft, we've been striving to get higher and higher. You've heard of releases on airplanes such as the Lockheed 104 and the Navy Grumman F-11F that have gone to quite high altitudes. Space, to any one of us, really begins at about 22 to 25,000.
Picture taking place.
At 22 to 25,000 feet, we can't live without survival equipment. So we really are in space. We've been flying in space as far as our environment goes for many years. But as far as going higher, that's just one more step.
I'm just going to say yes, and for a long time. Been much interested.
I've been much interested for a long time, too. I think of a specific example, though, in direct answer to your question of where I really felt this desire or this inclination to really get into space flight. We did considerable work, or we're doing some work, when I was back at the test center at Patuxent down here, Naval Air Test Center, on zoom flight work, where you're getting up all the speed you can and trying to optimize your flight path for getting the maximum altitude out of an airplane on the zoom climb. And on that, I don't think I ever made a zoom climb on the airplane, and I didn't have a feeling of, boy, if I just had some more power to bloop this thing on out a little bit. So I think to give you a specific answer on a period like that is when I have really felt I would want to go on out, and I've been interested in it for a long time.
Yes, I have too. I've entertained thoughts for some years of possibilities of space flight.